This is a Miner's Minute, a conversation with James Buchal, a mining attorney. One of the things that I'm interested in, and I'm sure the mining community as a whole, is what constitutes a good court case?
Well, it's a very general question, and every legal dispute is different, but I can offer some general considerations that should be kept in mind. First point is act quickly. There are short statutes of limitations on many of these things, and I can't tell you how many times I've had people come into the office who are like, they took my bridge away, I can't reach the claim anymore. When did that happen? 3 years ago? Too late. It's very important to move quickly. The second point is that, at least under the rule of the Backland case, if it sticks, if you're fighting with the Forest Service and you do your internal appeals and so forth and so on, you can't just rest on your rights because they can come after you criminally once you exhaust your appeals unless you beat them to court first. And so again, it's a question of timing. Time works against you. Second point is that most miners I talk to know the law pretty well. Sometimes they have an expanded view of what their rights are, but they understand their rights very clearly. So articulate yourself well to the Forest Service or whoever it is, BLM, and keep every piece of paper. Every piece of paper matters. The interactions matter, what happens, notes, keep a journal. Be able to reproduce with perfect clarity sort of what happened over time, because the most expensive part of a lawsuit is often trying to reassemble what happened and put it into a factual story for the court or whatever, and that's easier if everything's kept orderly and together and you keep all the paper. Finally, in terms of coming and seeking a lawyer, it probably has to be worth it to do it. You have to be suffering the loss of something that makes it important enough to do it. Lawsuits are fantastically expensive. I charge $250 an hour for most of my lawsuits, and I think I'm cheaper than most lawyers because when I have to hire them for other people in other states, they charge more. So you have to have enough to justify going to court. Most cases, you can't get your attorney's fees back from the government, even if you're right, because the judge can look and say, well, even if the government was wrong, they were sort of substantially justified, and we don't have to pay the fees, and so forth and so on. So these are difficult cases. I could speak for an hour on all the tricks that the government has that advantages itself in litigation as compared to litigation against private litigants. With private litigant cases cost half as much as government cases because the government is always out to run the clock and run you down and waste your time and money.
This is a Miner's